Welcome.
Thanks, Arlen. Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here this afternoon. The emotional freedom technique is a very nice, gentle, and effective way to deal with stress. It is a type of body work, and so I'm just going to give you some examples of body work to begin with. Body work is a little bit like exercise in that different things work for different people. I might like to cycle. Maybe a treadmill works for you. Maybe jogging works for somebody else. Maybe somebody else prefers swimming. There's lots of different types of body work that can help you deal with stress in the workplace, balancing stress at the workplace and at home. And these are all ways, and this is certainly not a complete list. Acupuncture can help you deal with stress. Conscious breath work is a very nice technique, but you would need to go take a workshop or a weekend class in conscious breath work. Conscious breath work can really decrease your stress quickly. Some people find it uncomfortable. I find it excellent. Energetic medicine, EFT, which we're doing today, would be considered a type of energetic medicine or a type of energetic psychology. I have been teaching EFT in excess of 20 years. I think I started learning about it in 1998, 1999, somewhere around there. Guided imagery is a nice technique, different types of herbal therapies, massage. I do know people who, if they get a massage every 2 weeks, they can deal with their stress level. Meditation is a very good way to deal with stress and anxiety in the workplace. Pressure point therapy. I am trained in pressure points. You can get rid of migraine headaches with pressure points. You can teach yourself to put yourself to sleep with pressure points. I've stopped gallbladder attacks with pressure points, my own gallbladder attacks. Progressive relaxation is also a very nice technique. I used to do that with my students in my high school health classroom, and it was one of their favorite activities, where you tense different muscle sets for about 5 seconds and then relax them. And you change your breathing, and you can do a visualization with that. It was something that I used as a reward, but it taught kids how to get ready for big games or big events or the play or whatever they might, a verbal presentation that they had to do. It's a very nice technique that people can use in the privacy of their own home and on a sofa or a bed. And you tense muscle sets from the feet all the way up the body, or from the top of the body all the way down. Reflexology is specifically pressure points on the feet, and you can work on lots of medical problems that will benefit you if you go to a reflexologist. They're not very common. They might be a little challenging to find, just like a good massage therapist or a good pressure point therapist, but they are out there. Reiki is a type of energy healing where a Reiki master, I am trained in Reiki, you would use your hands on somebody's sore or stiff or swelling knee or an ankle. And it will feel better over the next 12 to 24 to 72 hours. Tai Chi is slow moving martial arts. And that kind of massages the meridians and pressure points of the body. With EFT today, we will be tapping on pressure points in certain spots of the body. And what you're doing with that, with all of these techniques, is you are getting stuck and caught energy in the body to move more smoothly along the meridians. And that's actually what you're after. Somebody who's healthy and balanced, those meridians are running fully throughout the body. They're not running too fast. They're not clogged. They're not stuck. If you think of a really badly sprained ankle, that ankle swells and it gets fat, and there's not blood flow or movement that can move through that joint as well as when it's healthy. And with different types of physical problems, you can get sluggish places in your body, whether it's digestion, or it's your lungs, or it's migraines in the head. That anytime there's pain or discomfort, there is caught or stuck energy in the body along the lines of Chinese medicine. That's kind of how they think about that. And Tai Chi would be like a slow moving exercise, and like yoga, that would move the energy through the body. Thought-filled therapy is very similar to EFT. I have been trained in thought-filled therapy, but the individual who developed it was very, very controlling about people's use or copying information. And the developer of EFT was really very open about it, and he wanted everybody to understand how to use it, and he wanted it to go worldwide. And EFT is much more available and easy to find out about, and it's actually very easy to use. And yoga is another excellent type of exercise that would massage those meridians and get the body to flow, the energy in the body to flow. So take a look in your particular community and see if you have any people that are trained acupuncturists or teachers that teach meditation. Look for some of these things and see if, what works for you, because EFT works for just about everybody. Lots of these examples here work for a lot of people, but not everything works for everybody as well. Just like food, you prefer certain types of food, certain types are your favorite. It's the same kind of thing. But there are these practitioners out there, probably somewhere in your area. Find out who they are. And if you find a massage therapist, they might know a pressure point therapist, or they might know a reflexologist, because those people in the healing arts, they have a tendency to communicate with one another. And it's much like a community, though it might be hard to initially find them. So we're going to move on. This is an example of the meridians of the body. And this is what an acupuncturist would use if they were treating you for something. My point in showing you this is that with EFT, we are going to tap at the beginning of these meridians and at the ends of these meridians. And the idea is to get them flowing. Okay. When you think of something that upsets you, it has a tendency to stop or cause a bump in your energy, if you will. If you were to think of sometime that somebody said something to you, maybe a student, maybe a parent, maybe a coworker, maybe a boss, they said something to you that was really offensive, and it sort of hits you. That changes the flow of those meridians. And what we're after today is you're gonna learn a technique to smooth out that energy and try to even up that flow in the body, and you will feel relief. So this is just an informational chart to let you know that these meridians go down the front of the body and up the back of the body. And they relate to, if you look at the list in the middle, they relate to your major organ systems. There's a lung meridian, there's a heart meridian, there's a large intestine meridian, a stomach meridian. And they all have points along them that an acupuncturist or a pressure point therapist would use. And today with EFT, we're going to be using them on the face and the hand and the chest specifically. So my intention with this is to empower people to increase control of their environment and their own lives. I want you to be able to solve your own issues. I want you to be able to drop your stress levels. I want individuals to become informed about energetic medicine and the innate wisdom of your body. There's a lot that you can do for yourself on any given day, and EFT is a really nice tool to get there. I used EFT frequently when I was working, and I used I used EFT to actually finally win my doctorate. I did test EFT for my dissertation. My actual dissertation and study was on EFT. I tested it on about 140 teachers. Half of them learned EFT and half of them were a control group and did not use EFT. The teachers that used EFT, their stress levels dropped like rocks. And I used the Maslach burnout inventory to ascertain how burned out individuals were and what using EFT did to that Maslach burnout inventory number. It was very effective. But the irony is that I had to use a lot of EFT to actually win my degree. But I do want you to understand that there's a lot that you can do in your daily life by learning some of these techniques and understanding that there's other techniques that are probably available in your community that you may not have realized before today. Now, these are some things that what I'd like you to do is with your piece of paper, if you have it, with the EFT instructions on it, I would like you to pick something small to tap on today. This was a list that I came up with for teachers, maybe a challenging student, maybe insufficient class funds, a difficult parent, class size, a challenging administrator. Oh, we have bells. Let's wait a second. It's okay. A coworker that doesn't do their work, so you have to. Inadequate pay, a roof leak, temperature control. The heat was out so often in my classroom when I was teaching that there are pictures of me in the yearbook with my winter coat on and gloves and scarves. Not kidding. Several pictures. Being overworked, fatigue, anxiety, supplies, lack of time. Maybe you find that you're having a challenge recovering from the whole COVID years of teaching. Pick something. We have an announcement. So pick something small that you would like to work on today. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to own it. I don't want you to pick anything too big, okay? Because if it's too big, it won't work. You have to pick something small, maybe a specific instance with a student or a specific instance with an administrator. You pick. And what I'd like you to do is gauge that on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being not really an issue, 10 being it bothers you a lot, and give yourself a number. And I'd like you to write it on that sheet of paper because I would like you to own it. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind is if you're going to tap on school, it might be more effective if you tapped at home on school. And if there's something at home that's bothering you, maybe you can take a time at the end of the day at work and tap on it before you go home. Try and remove yourself from that position as much as possible, or give yourself some time or some space in order to tap on that and deal with that. Now, if you haven't had a chance, please take just a minute or two and read both copies of the EFT instructions. Don't do anything yet, but pick out what you want to tap on and then read through this, and I will take you through it step by step. I think we're going to probably end up doing 3 rounds of tapping, trying to get that number down for whatever you're working on. But I've already had you rate the intensity of what it is you want to tap on. Now, this will work to a degree on physical pain. It can get rid of about 60 to 70% of physical pain, because physical pain is largely emotional, not completely, but largely, and it can take off the edge. You can tap on a person, you can tap on a situation, something that keeps coming back to you that you can't let go of. Rank that, and please write it down on your sheet of paper. And then when you have a chance, read through the next page as well. This is called the 9 gamut, and we'll be doing this. The process of this is we will start with these points. And I want you to make a note on your paper if you would. You can use the right side of your body or the left side of your body. It does not matter. It's just that I thought that if I posted all those points, that it would be overwhelming and confusing. But you can use either your right hand or your left hand for the 9 gamut points. You can use the right or the left side. Now, if somebody has an injury, I would, of course, use the opposite side just to not be, tapping on a bruise or something like that. But how we will do this is we will tap the upper body points first. Then we will go and tap the 9 gamut on the hand. And then we will go back and tap the upper body points again. That's one round of tapping. Okay. When you start tapping, you're going to, please read number 2. You're going to rub on that point on number 6 right on the chest. And we're going to say this because we're in a public situation. I do want you to say this out loud. We're going to say, even though I have this issue, I totally and completely accept myself. Now, when you're in the privacy of your own classroom or you're in the privacy of your own home, I would like you to be specific. You might want to take down a couple notes on this. Even though I have this anger with my administrator, I totally and completely accept myself. Be as specific as you can. Because we're sort of in a public situation today, I'm just going to have us say, even though I have this issue, I totally and completely accept myself. Okay. Now, the real trick with EFT is you have to hold these emotions. If you want to release them, you have to hold them. Okay. You have to feel them. You have to think about how it felt when that person said that nasty thing to you, when they called you a bad name, when, whatever happened. You have to feel that. And the more you can feel it through this tapping process, the more effective the process will be. So once we do, and this is called a reversal on number 2, we do that at the beginning because it momentarily gets all the meridians flowing in the same direction. And it's easier to release something when all the meridians are flowing correctly. And then we're going to go through tapping each of these points. The first one's going to start up here. And then we're going to proceed to the 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, the 6th again. And then number 7 is on your bottom rib right in the front, in line with the nipple on the anatomy. And then 8 is right on the side, underneath the armpit, right in line with the nipple or a bra strap. And then that's the first section of tapping. And then we'll move to the hand, and I will talk you through all the hand tapping. So you should have already rated something that you want to release. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing today because I'm just sort of washed out and tired. So I'm going to do fatigue. And fatigue for me, my number today is going to be, it's going to be a 7 or an 8. It's kind of high. I didn't sleep well last night for whatever reason, and I'm more fatigued than I usually am today. So I'm going to tap on fatigue. So we're going to start this process. And what I'd like you to do is wherever you're at, I would like you to say this out loud. And remember, I want you to feel it and believe it. So right here, rub that spot and say, even though I have this issue, I totally and completely accept myself. Okay. I'm going to say it 3 more times. Please do it with me. Even though I have this issue, I totally and completely accept myself. Even though I have this issue, I totally and completely accept myself. Even though I have this issue, I totally and completely accept myself. Now, holding the thought of whatever it is that's bothering you, for me, it's fatigue. For you, whatever it is that you gave yourself a number for, think about that issue. And now I want you to take 2 fingers and I want you to tap about 3 to 5 times on each of these spots. Think about that issue. Good. Now back of the eye right here. Think about it and tap. Under the eye, think about it and tap. Under the nose, think about it and tap. Chin, think about it and tap. Now, same spot, number 6 on the chest. Think about it and tap. You may sigh, your eyes may water. You might all of a sudden not remember what you're tapping on. It's okay. All those things are expected and natural. Bottom rib right in the front. Tap. Now on the side, tap. Now we're going to go to the next copy. And you can choose either hand, doesn't matter. But as your hand is towards you, your thumb is facing your chest, tap on the inside cuticle right where it shows in the picture. You put your hand on the table or on your leg and tap on the edge of the thumb. 3 to 5 times. Think about that issue. Now the finger, index finger, number 2. Tap. Think about that feeling. Feel that sadness. Middle finger. Feel that sadness or that anger or that frustration, whatever it is. Little finger. And now the karate spot is right on the edge, just beneath the knuckle of the little finger. Tap on that spot. Or you can karate chop like this, either way. Tap on that spot. Now on the 9 gamut spot, you're going to tap right in between the ring finger and the little finger, right where it shows on the diagram. 2 or 3 fingers fit right in that little valley in your hand. And you're going to tap on that spot. I'm going to talk you through the 9 gamut. So sit up straight in your chair, feet flat on the floor. And this erases it from anywhere in the brain that it might reside. That's why we do the 9 gamut. So hold the emotion of what it is you're trying to release. And what I'd like you to do is sit up straight, pick something stationary that's out in front of you and look at it, tap on the 9 gamut spot the whole time and look straight forward. Think about it, close your eyes. Keep tapping. Open your eyes. The whole time during this 9 gamut, please tap on the back of your hand. Now sitting straight in your chair, moving only your eyes, look hard down to your left. Don't move your head. Hold your head still and move just your eyes and look down to the left and tap. And now back to that center spot on the wall. And now down to the right. Don't move your head, move your eyes. And back to center. Keep tapping on your hand. Revisit what it is you're tapping about. And now in a great big huge circle, move your eyes in a huge circle from the right to the left. And then a huge circle from the left to the right. Start tapping on your hand. Hold your head still. And do a great eye circle, left to right, and then right to left. And if your hand gets sore, you can switch to your other hand if you would like. And now for right brain, left brain, hum 6 notes of any song you can think of. Happy birthday, America the Beautiful, whatever. Ready? And now count out loud to 5. Keep tapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hum 6 notes of any song. Ready? Good. Now go back to the first. Oh. Sorry, it went the wrong way. Go back to the first copy. Think about your issue and go to number 1. And one more time, tap 3 to 5 times. Think about your issue. Number 2, under your eye, under the nose, chin, chest, bottom rib in the front, side, and stop for just a second. Close your eyes. Take a couple nice, deep cleansing breaths. Now we finished one round of tapping. And what I would like you to do is go back and evaluate your number. And if it dropped or if it changed, would you please cross out your previous number and write your new number? I would say that mine dropped from an 8 to a 6. A 2-point drop like that is very common. That's actually the most common. So we're not done tapping. We're going to go ahead and try and get these numbers down to like a 0 or a 1. So it doesn't really have charge. You can think about it, but it's not upsetting. So because we already did number 2 and we did the reversal, you only have to do that when you start tapping the first time. So we're actually going to start at number 3. You should have a new number for your emotion, whatever that might be. Mine's a 6. So write down your new number and stay with that same subject, and tap with it again. And we're probably going to do, my guess is 2 more rounds of tapping, and then we'll see where people are at and if you have questions. I would suggest that you carry this paper with you in your bag, in your briefcase. After a while, you'll have it memorized if you use it enough. I no longer need the paper. I can tap wherever I go. But it is nice to have available, just to double check the process. So let me tell you about 2 contraindications. There's 2 reasons that people should not tap. And one is with a caveat. If someone is diagnosed with depression, what I want you to do is I want you to learn this today and then take a copy to your therapist or whoever you work with and ask them if you can use it, because it can make things shift and change quickly. And I just want to make sure that you have the professional support that you might need if you happen to have clinical depression. The other contraindication is if someone has schizophrenia. And with schizophrenia, it can move and shift things quickly. So it is not advised for people with schizophrenia. Those are the only 2 contraindications. I'm not aware of people that can overuse this. One of the teachers in my study used it 12 times in one evening. And I mean, I was like, is there nothing on TV? Do you not have a life? But he was really excited about it. So, you can use it several times in a day if you feel the need. And we're going to continue with the second round of tapping. So stay with your same subject, but we're going to start at number 3. And if you want to use the other side of the body, you can. I actually had an acupuncturist that suggested that maybe if you're going to tap 3 times, just switch sides if there's not an injury. That way you're getting all the meridians in the body and you're not, leaving anything out. So I will be using the left side this time, just because I'm going to give it a turn. So again, same subject. For me, it's fatigue. Stay with the same subject that you're using and think about it and tap right here. Number 1. Good. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. 5 on the chin. Think about it. Revisit that emotion. Number 6. Number 7, bottom rib in the front. Side. And now we're going to go to the 9 gamut for the hand. And I'm going to use my right hand this time. Again, edge of the thumb, right on the thumbnail. And think about your issue and tap. Index finger, think about your issue and tap. Middle finger, think about your issue and tap. Little finger, think about your issue and tap. And now the karate spot, right on the edge of the hand, and tap. Again, sighing, yawning, eyes watering, all very common signs that EFT is working. Now in that 9 gamut spot, right in the valley between the little finger and the ring finger, I'm going to talk you through the 9 gamut again. So just start tapping on that hand and don't stop. Sit up straight, look straight forward, pick something stationary on the wall in front of you, and think about your issue. Now close your eyes, please, and open them. Keep tapping, holding your head still. Look hard down to the right, moving only your eyes, and tap on your hand. And now back at center. And now look, moving only your eyes, look hard down to the left, and back to center. Keep tapping on your hand. And now do 2 great eye circles, one to the right, one to the left, while you tap on your hand, holding your head still. Great eye circles. See, yawning is very common. Big sighs. Now, hum again, about 6 notes. And count to 5, still tapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hum again. Good. Now close your eyes and take a couple nice deep breaths. Now reevaluate your number and see if it's changed. It is common for people to like completely forget what they're tapping on. That's not uncommon. Still finish the process, even if you can't figure out what it is. That even if you have to kind of look for it. It's kind of like you have to finish the process in order for it to stick or work. Also with the 9 gamut, it doesn't really matter if you do right-handed eye rolls first or left-handed. The 9 gamut also, it doesn't matter what order you do it in as long as you get it all done. This is a pretty forgiving process. A lot of people I know that actually teach EFT avoid teaching 0.7 on the chest because of women and breasts. Well, I want the complete process. So I have all the points labeled and I want you to use them. But if you happen to miss one, it's not that it's not going to work. It's still going to have an effect. So that's a second round of tapping. I have had people drop from a 9 to a 0 in 1 round of tapping. That's the most I've ever seen anybody move. Sometimes if it's a big issue, whatever that issue is, sometimes it'll go above 10. That's rare. And that means also that maybe they should be tapping on something smaller. That's why I want you to kind of pick something small today to see how this works and to see how it feels before you tackle something that's larger. And you really should take small bites of the apple, if you will, and work on something with one situation at a time. We're going to do a third round of tapping, and then we're going to see where everybody's at. And if we have to do a fourth one, I would be happy to do that. Usually I would teach this in my classroom, and it would be the same amount of time that we're spending together today. And we would usually get 3 rounds of tapping done in that time. So reevaluate your number, cross out the other one, write the new one. Mine is, I would say, a 4. And we're going to do this process again. Again, we only have to do number 2. Even though I have this issue, I totally and completely accept myself whenever you start a whole new round of tapping on a new subject. So we're going to start at number 3 again, and we're going to begin again. I'm going to use the right side of my body this time. So whatever is your issue, please revisit that, and let's begin tapping. And we'll start up here, number 1. Think about it. Back of the eye. Under the eye. Under the nose. Chin. Chest. Bottom rib in front. Side. And go to the hand. Use whichever hand you'd like. Edge of the thumbnail. Think about your issue. Feel that emotion. Feel that pain. Feel that sorrow. Edge of the index finger. Number 2, you can also say, because your body will understand it, the rest of this pain, the rest of this emotion, the remainder of this anger. Little finger, tap. Edge of the hand, tap. And sit up straight, please. 9 gamut. Tap on your hand, right on the back in that little valley. Tap on it, sit up straight, eyes straight, look at center, and think about your issue. And please close your eyes and open your eyes. Holding your head still, eyes hard down to the left, back to center, hard down to the right, back to center. And now a great eye circle, right to left, and 1 left to right. Tap on your hand, think about the issue that you are working on, and do the eye roll. Nice big yawn, shows it's working. And then to the right, all the way over to the left. And now, hum 6 notes of a song. Count out loud to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hum again. Good. Go back to the front of the body. And we're going to finish this last round of tapping and revisit your issue one last time. Think about it and tap inside of the eyebrow, back of the eyebrow, under the eye, under the nose, chin, chest, bottom rib, side, and take a break, close your eyes, take a nice couple deep breaths. I would say my number is at a 2. So I would be done tapping. You want to tap whatever the issue is down to like a 1 or a 2. So it's essentially neutral. And we did 3 rounds of tapping. Sometimes if you are angry at a friend or you're angry at a coworker and you tap on anger, that's the overarching emotion. When you alleviate that, then underneath that, you might find other emotions, like you're sad that you're mad at your coworker, or you feel guilty that you're mad at your coworker. And then you can tap on those individual emotions also. But the overarching emotion, once you allow that to dissipate, you might find that there's other smaller emotions under that. Totally normal, totally acceptable. You can choose to tap on those other emotions if you wish. You would have to start at number 1 again and rate the intensity, and then do the reversal, number 2, even though I have this issue or this sorrow or this guilt or whatever, and then go through the whole process again. That's how you actually use this. So it's easy. I find that it's effective. It's gentle. If you pick something that's too big, it just won't work. So if you're completely overwhelmed with everything, don't do overwhelmment. Pick one thing at a time. Pick one class to tap on, or one student, or one issue. Go at it with smaller bites of the apple, so that the process, so that EFT can work for you and you aren't just going to be frustrated. Okay, because I want it to make you more comfortable, not less comfortable. And that is essentially it. So please feel free to report results. I'm ready for questions if anybody's ready for questions. I certainly am. Oh, and just as an offshoot, this particular picture is from New Zealand, and I happen to live there for a very short period of time. So it's one of my favorite places on the planet. It makes me very happy. So I just thought I would share the beauty with you.
That is beautiful, Anne. Thank you so much.
Nicholas,
Did you take that picture yourself?
I confess I did not. I live
Okay.
right up on this hill up here.
Okay, very cool.
My cursor showing up?
Yes, we can see it.
Yep. So.
Okay, so love to hear some reporting out. Type it into the chat what this experience was like for you. If you want to share out verbally, we would love that. All you have to do is raise your hand from the buttons at the bottom. You should see a raise hand icon near the lower right, and I can enable your microphone so you can talk. But anybody willing to share out verbally or through chat, go ahead and start typing. We will wait for you. All right, quick note from Pamela saying, thank you. I've tried this before, but never with the eye movements. So that was a new piece for Pamela. Thank you. Awesome. Lots of chats coming in now. Exercise was calming, even though I wasn't having a rough day. That's good. Sherry says, so relaxing. Thank you.
Good.
Missy asks, are there any studies that show the efficacy of EFT?
Well, my study would be one, and I am aware that there are others. But yes, they're out there. It is relatively new, but there's some research. I believe I was published in 2015, and I believe my dissertation was finished in 2011. And there were studies back then, so I'm sure there's more.
A question here from Tanya. She was curious why chiropractic wasn't listed on the types of bodywork.
It could easily be listed. I probably ran out of space. The acupuncturist that I work with is a chiropractor, and she is the reason that I ended up doing so much work with alternative medicine and actually getting my doctorate. So that would be appropriate.
And Elizabeth asked, how do you go about presenting this to your students?
As a stress relief technique. And I focused a lot on things that would make their lives better. And I had a lot of students who would use this before they would write a paper, or they would come back and say, you know, I used it before the play, but it was really as a stress relief.
And I would think just the nuts and bolts of getting it to your students, getting them the handouts and walking them through the process a few times. It was very easy to kind of remember what to tap on. After you do it a couple of times, you almost have it memorized. So I would think transferring it to students wouldn't be too big of a leap.
No, it wasn't at all. In fact, I always found that at the very end of the class hour, I was always amazed at how calm and quiet and peaceful everybody was. It's kind of like their reset buttons were pushed.
Oh, Taylor asked a good question. Can we teach this to students, or do we need to be certified in the technique?
I think you would probably need to get some type of training. I did for my dissertation. Dawson Church does a lot of the training now. On the copy of my presentation, Gary Craig developed EFT. He has since retired. And I believe Dawson Church has purchased it and runs trainings. But I believe they could be done online. So it's not like you would have to travel. But I would think you would want to know more about it before you taught somebody this technique. I mean, I did go to trainings, and I have Gary Craig's, you know, CDs that tells you how old it was in my basement boxes of them. I went through his training at that time.
And again, if anybody, oh, it looks like we've got some questions in Q&A. Let me go back to that. Jessica asks, can you feel a little dizzy after EFT?
It is possible. I would just focus on your breathing, and that might be an indicator that you want to go with smaller topics, you know, break it up a little bit more. I see somebody has a question about tapping on the top of the head.
Yes.
I have seen places where they've tapped on the very top of the head. I believe the spots that are on this, those are essentially covered. If somebody wanted to add that, I don't think it would be negative, but I think it's taken care of in the process of this tapping technique. I can't remember which one takes care of it, but it's a little bit like you don't tap on the ring finger, but when you tap on the karate spot, that's instead of the ring finger. So it's essentially all taken care of. But there are some methods that use that top of the head. I am aware of that.
And Christine asks, have you ever done this with teachers, parents, or school administrators?
Well, I've tried. I have offered times to teach teachers, and I've done it upon occasion, but there just wasn't a lot of demand, and I think it's the fact that a lot of people think that, you know, they're already too busy. I do remember when I was asking people to be involved in my doctoral dissertation, that I had the head of our union in my classroom, and I was teaching him the process because my point was this: I wanted them to use EFT every single day for 3 weeks, I think, maybe 4 weeks, every single day on something that had to do with work, workload, students, you know, whatever, and use it once a day. And then they took the Maslow burnout inventory at the beginning of 3 weeks, and then they took it at the end of the 3 or 4 weeks that they tapped every day. And he happened to be the head of our union, and he was a science teacher. And he came in and he was pretty upset with a coworker about a union matter. I have no idea who it was or what it had to do with, but I could tell that he was upset. And so I taught him the tapping process. And we got about 2/3 of the way through it. And he looked at me and he goes, because I think he was tapping on this issue with this union member. And he goes, "It's gone." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And he goes, "No, you don't understand. It's gone." And he was absolutely flummoxed. And he was a science teacher. The people that I find are the most challenging are science teachers and math teachers, because they're very concrete. And when we learn something new in science, it takes a really, really long time for that to filter down through the university level and down into day-to-day textbooks and high school and middle school level. It takes a really long time. And while you and I are busy doing our day-to-day teaching, people are discovering new things, and some of them can be life-changing. And for me, that was this whole area of alternative and energetic medicine. So yes, I think there's a big need. I think there's a big need for teachers to learn these types of things. I think there's a big need for our entire medical community, our police forces. These are all very high stress jobs. And there are things that are available, but people are like, "Oh yeah, it's not worth my time." So that's, I want to thank you, Arlen, for allowing me to do some of this, because I've been doing it for years for students. But it's a little bit out of the box. And so sometimes I think it takes adults a little bit more exposure to understand the value of something like this.
Wonderful. We really appreciate your time with us, Dr. Reynolds. Thanks for answering all the questions and everybody typing in their experiences into chat. Appreciate that. I'm going to stop the recording now since I don't see any other questions.